Hello and welcome everyone to Cafe. I'm Crystal Candy.
And I'm Clarence Reynolds. Great to be back with you to share all of the fun and exciting events happening this week.
Now, Clarence, you actually went to the Orlando Museum of Art and saw some really interesting exhibits. Let's take a look at that.
The Orlando Museum of Art, Florida Prize in Contemporary Art. I wonder what that's all about.
Hey, Clarence.
Hey, Marie.
Thanks for coming today. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. So tell me about this Florida Prize.
So Florida Prize in Contemporary Art is our annual exhibition that our team here at the Orlando Museum of Art curates. It features 10 emerging artists from around the state of Florida, and contemporary art. So some non-traditional pieces featuring organic materials, photography, traditional paint. We even have some crochet going on.
How do you define contemporary versus traditional, modern, other genres?
Sure, so contemporary art kind of pushes the envelope and, as I mentioned, goes outside of the traditional idea of painting and those classical pieces that people are used to seeing in places like the Met and some of those more traditional museums. We're really here to feature, as I mentioned, the emerging artists and people who are doing things a little bit differently in the art scene.
So there are 2 awards. Tell me about those.
Yeah, so we host our preview party the opening weekend, and on that evening we award 2 prizes. We've got the People's Choice Award, which is voted by attendees and given that evening, a $2,500 prize. This year was given to our first collaborative team of artists, the Jimenez twin brothers, and they feature photography in their piece. And then the Florida Prize in Contemporary Art is a $20,000 award, which is generously underwritten by Gail and Michael Wynn, and that was awarded this year to Akiko Kotani.
So what is your favorite piece of art in the collection?
Let's see, it's hard to pick just one, they're so different, all of them, but I'd say Cara Despain, who's featured. She has a uranium glass piece, which is exceptional, and then also Amy Schissel, who's our largest piece in the exhibition all along the back wall. Just really incredible works this year.
So where do you suggest I start?
You should start over here with Magnus Soderman. He's a classic Florida artist, features some pieces from the Everglades, and then I'll meet you over back and we can look at Akiko's award-winning work.
All right, great.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Hey, Clarence. So what'd you think?
I am wowed. This is really, really great.
Incredible, huh? Yeah.
Tell me about this artist, because it looks like crochet.
Sure, so Akiko Kotani, she won the Florida Prize in Contemporary Art this year, really exciting, and she uses nylon and plastic bags and other textiles to create her pieces.
So I'm imagining that there's some sort of message behind this art.
Of course. So she pays homage to women and all of their accomplishments throughout society, and just tries to bring recognition to their achievements, which have been undervalued throughout time.
As I walk through the collection, I noticed that everything is so different. In contemporary art, things are so different. How do they curate this? Where do they find these artists?
Yeah, so our curatorial team works really hard throughout the year, traveling all across the state and visiting different exhibitions and museums and galleries, and ultimately decides on 10 artists who are emerging and really kind of pushing the envelope of contemporary art, featuring unique pieces and works.
Well, I'm going to continue looking around because I love it.
Yeah, there's so much to see. We appreciate it. Enjoy.
Thank you for showing us around.
Thank you.
So, there's always a little bit of contemporary art in OMART, But this was, right now, there's a lot of contemporary art. So if that's your thing, this is the time to go.
Sounds like it sort of elevated your mind a bit.
It's really good.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, the Alban Polashek Museum and Sculpture Garden is hosting Japanese Embroidery, a journey of tradition and innovation. This event will explore the 1,000-year-old technique of traditional Japanese embroidery and its modern adaptations. Japanese embroidery is considered one of the most challenging forms of embroidery in the world. The museum will showcase the work of Winter Park resident Karen Plater. She's trained extensively with Nihon Shishu masters and created her own original designs. The exhibition opens August 29th.
The Blue Bamboo Center for the Arts presents All That Jazz and Blues and Rock and Soul, the art of Everett Spruill. While Blue Bamboo is a live performance center, it also has artwork by local visual artists. The collection of musical paintings and collages by Everett Spruill will be on display through August 17th.
In commemoration of the 100-year anniversary of the Rosewood Massacre, the Hannibal Square Heritage Center will be the first stop on the traveling exhibition, An Elegy to Rosewood. The exhibition is made up of historic and contemporary photographs, innovative digital materials, and renderings of memorials that honor the fallen. The groundbreaking exhibition is presented through the lens of women who were critical in preserving Rosewood's history. It also includes historic objects like maps and oral histories, many of which will be publicly displayed for the very first time. The exhibition will be on display until August 26th.
Leave the kids with a sitter and become a kid again yourself for Science Night Live at the Orlando Science Center. This is your chance to explore and experience science through a special programming just for adults. There will be interactive exhibits, hands-on experiments in Dr. Dare's lab, and special guest speakers. Food and adult beverages will be available for purchase. Science Night Live is on August 26th at 8 o'clock. Get your tickets at osc.org.
Tammy Diener Lafferty, who is a curator at the Alban Polashek Museum and Sculpture Gardens, joins us to tell us about this very, very special place in our area. Welcome, Tammy. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Every time I say Alban Polashek Museum and Sculpture Gardens to somebody, their eyes light up.
Yes.
For people who haven't been, tell them what they will experience once they go there.
Well, I would say, many people say, oh, I have never heard of it, or I have never been there and I've heard of it. So I just want to say, I hope that everyone will come to visit. It is a very special place. It's located in Winter Park, Florida, on the shores of Lake Osceola. And it is not only a museum, it is also, we have an historic home. We have a sculpture garden located on the shores of Lake Osceola. And we also have an art gallery with rotating exhibits that we rotate 4 times a year with different, upcoming and new artists. We have an annual event called Winter Park Paint Out, which is very popular in Winter Park and is a lot of fun. And we also have Capon House, which is a second historic home. And there we host events, weddings and conferences, and it's available for rent.
Now, you just sort of slid the Sculpture Gardens in there.
Yes,
but
I
it
did.
really is a
Yes.
very special place.
It is a special place. I highly recommend people come and spend a day there. The Sculpture Gardens, it's a 3-acre sculpture garden, just lush with all kinds of different tropical plants. And nestled within the plants, you'll find as you turn around every corner, the beautiful sculptures created by Alban Polashek. He built this home in 1950 when he retired, and he built it to be his studio and his home. And he was inspired by the same sites that you'll see when you visit there, the beautiful landscaping and the beautiful view of the lake. And he designed those gardens himself to display his sculptures.
It's a wonderful experience. It's reflective, contemplative, but also just so artistic.
Yes.
You're
yeah.
seeing so much beautiful design. The atmosphere, of course, and the setting is
Yes.
just amazing to be there on the lake. So if people wanted to bring their family, would kids really enjoy it as well?
Yes, yes, we're definitely very welcoming to families. I think, one of the best parts is our 3-acre sculpture garden, so the kids can go out and run around in the gardens. It's fine to go up to the sculptures and touch them and interact with them. And we do have docent-led museum guided tours of the historic home, which will tell you all about the life of Alvin Polasek and about his artwork. But I would say they're pretty brief, and I think most kids would be able to follow along and enjoy it, yes.
So Tammy, tell me about Winter Park Paint Out. What would people experience if they participate?
Winter Park Paint Out is, one of the cultural events of the year in Orlando. It's very popular. It's been held since 2011, and the Winter Park Paint Out consists of plein air painters. 24, nationally recognized plein air painters. Plein air means outdoor painting. Come for Winter Park Paint Out for a week-long festival. And in that week, these painters create, up to 250 paintings. Our gallery is turned into a wet room, and as they paint, their paintings are hung in the wet room. And they are all available for sale. The proceeds help to benefit the museum and the artists as well. They paint on site at the Polasek Museum. The museum and the festival is free all week long. And we have painting demonstrations, so some of these artists will give demonstrations as to their techniques and how they paint. It's just a really wonderful, wonderful place to be. The painters can be found all over different sites around Winter Park and Orlando. So if you see, during the last week of April, we have this annual event every year. If you see painters painting away, it's most likely that they are part of Winter Park Paint Out.
And with the sculpture garden and just the beautiful locale, is there event space that you could have an event there?
Oh yes, we're very popular for weddings. In 2014, the museum had the opportunity to purchase, it's called Capon House. Capon House was located on the other shore of Lake Osceola, and the land was purchased and the house was to be demolished. And so a bunch of concerned citizens, including the Polasek Museum, got together and raised funds to save the Capon House. And they were able to, in a very short amount of time, raise enough funds to move and restore the home. So yes, it was moved across the lake. So I was not there at this time, but I've seen photos, and from what I understand, the house was actually cut in half, and then it was put on barges and floated across the lake to the Polasek property, and there it was reassembled together and restored, and it's just a beautiful historic building from the beginning of the 20th century, like early 1900s. Beautiful wood floors. It's just a lovely place to be, and it is available for weddings. We have many weddings, engagement parties, even business conference meetings there. It's a very photogenic spot. You can be married on the shores of Lake Osceola in the midst of the beautiful sculpture garden.
Very nice,
Yes.
very nice. And what a story you'll have to tell about your venue
Yes.
as well.
Yes.
Well, Tammy, thank you for being with us. And if you haven't been to the Polasek Museum and Sculpture Gardens, make your way there. It is one of the gems here in Central Florida.
Thank you.
Creative City Project and the Orlando Philharmonic Orchestra present a brand new collaboration, The Carnival, where orchestra meets the circus. The concert features the music of French composer Camille Saint-Saëns, The Carnival of the Animals. Alongside the ensemble, the Creative City Project curates a fantastical environment with high-energy acrobatic performances. This unique concert takes place through August 27th. Get times and tickets at creativecityproject.com.
Join the Blue Bamboo Center for the Arts for a Thursday night hang featuring Chris Cortez on guitar, Walt Hubbard on drums, Doug Matthews on bass, Ed Kraut on keyboards, and other special guests. The band will play a set and then there will be a jazz jam session. Listen to this. You're encouraged to bring your instrument and join in. However, a guitar amp, bass amp, drums, and piano are available for use. Admission is free. Doors open at 7 with the show starting at 8. The Thursday night hang sessions run through August 31st. So all you have to do is bring your talent. They'll provide the bass and the guitar and the amp.
Yeah. Bloom Bamboo is a really wonderful place for musicians to come and work out new songs, all kinds of things. It's really great. It's a really interesting place.
They'll play a set and then you can jam with other musicians.
That's the Orlando way.
I love it. That's so cool. Well, that wraps up this week of events. If you have one that you'd like to share with us for next month, send us an email at cafe@ocfl.net. I'm Crystal Candy.
And I'm Clarence Reynolds. Remember to join us next week to see what is new and exciting in your community.